Hey, I'm Brittany Bryden. Thank you so much for practicing with me. You're going to need 2 blocks as well as a yoga strap today. If you don't have a strap, then you can use a small resistance band, something like that. We are going to focus on our hamstrings. So we're going to start off on our back. You're going to place the strap off to the side, but have it near you for when we come to use it. And as you lower down onto your back, you're going to bring your feet together, take your knees open, and place your blocks underneath your thighs. So you can play around with your feet being closer to the pelvis or further away. But I want you to take your hands underneath your pelvis, pick your pelvis up, so like you're tucking under a little bit, and then lower the pelvis down. And then from there, just place your hands on the side of the ribs, let your legs completely relax on the blocks. And as you shut down your eyes, the tongue is going to rest on the roof of the mouth as you begin to find your breath moving in and out of your nose. Feeling the ribs move to the side on the inhale, breath going into the back. And that slow recoil in the center on the exhale. And take a nice big breath in. And clear it out. Bring your knees in the center. You're going to take your blocks on the lowest height and place them underneath your feet. Make sure your heels aren't too close to the glutes, have them away a bit. And then take your hands to your pelvis. So I want you to come into a posterior tilted pelvis, so those frontal hip bones are going to draw towards your low ribs. And as you do that, the back of the pelvis is going to connect to the floor. And then I want you to envision like you're pulling your frontal hip bones towards one another, especially on the exhale. Now you're going to keep the slight tuck of the pelvis, keep driving your feet into the blocks, and I want you to lift your hips up just a little bit. So the pelvis is just going to come a little bit off the floor. Notice if you're already starting to shift your ribs up towards the ceiling, keep your front ribs in and down. And then can you lift up another inch with the pelvis without changing the pelvis? Without coming to an anterior tilt. Then drive the feet into the blocks, you're going to lift up a little bit more. And then one more time, lift up another inch. And as you come up, it should not be too high. I want you to envision as you drive your feet into the blocks like you're pulling your heels towards your glutes. Then you're going to lower down, tap your pelvis to the floor, take a breath in. And on the exhale, tuck your pelvis under, drive your feet into the blocks, lift your hips up. Now envision you have a third block between your thighs. So you're not letting your knees go off to the side. Then lower down, tap your glutes to the floor. And exhale, drive your feet in the blocks, tuck your pelvis under, lift up. One more time, lower down. And then exhale, lift it up. Pausing at the top. Draw the heels towards your glutes. And you're going to roll down through your spine for 5. Glutes will land last. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you can just use your feet to kick the blocks off to the side. You're going to place your strap around the right foot. Taking the right leg up towards the ceiling, left knee is bent, foot on the ground. Both hands are holding the strap. And just begin to bend and straighten your right leg. We'll do one more. Good, now keep your legs straight. Leave the strap where it is, but reach both arms up towards your foot. So the palm of the hands are going to face one another. And then take a breath in. On the exhale, you're going to lift your chest up. So shoulder blades are going to come off the floor. Try to reach your hands past your foot. Now continue to lift the chest up. Drive your left foot into the floor. Find that slight tuck of the pelvis and then lift your hips up. And now feel like you're pulling the heel towards the glute, the left heel to glute. Lower down, keep the chest up, but tap the pelvis to the floor. And then keeping the chest lifted, lift your pelvis up. Lower down, tap. And then pick the hips up, hold. And then lower down. Both straps into your right hand so that your left hand can reach for your left foot. Place your foot on top of the right thigh for figure 4. Once you have your legs set, both hands to the strap. Bend your right knee, right thigh is going to come in towards you as you take your left knee out to the left side. Just close your eyes, drop in and notice the sensations. Then place the left foot into the strap, bend your right knee and set your right foot down to the floor. Bend and straighten your left leg. One more. Good, so keep the leg straight. Strap's going to stay where it is, but reach both hands up towards the foot. Take a breath in. Use the exhale to lift your chest up. Look to the foot and try to reach your hands past the foot. Chest is going to stay lifted. Drive your right foot down. Pull your heel to the glute and lift your hips up. Lower down, tap your glutes, but chest stays up. And then lift the hips up. Drive your right foot into the floor. One more time. Lower down. And then pick it up and hold. And then lower down. Reach down for your right foot. Place your right foot on top of the left thigh, figure four. Both hands to the straps, bend the left knee. Left thigh towards you, right knee up to the right side. Then take the strap off to the side and grab one of your blocks and place it between your thighs. Walk your feet away from your glutes. Then hug into the block. Take a breath in. On the exhale, tuck your pelvis under. Lift your hips up. Front ribs in and down. Pull your heels towards your glutes. You're hugging into the block. And then lower down. Tap your glutes to the floor. And then lift the hips back up. Lower down, tap. Lift the hips up. One more time, tap. Hips lift, pause there. And then roll down through your spine. Glutes will land last for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the block off to the side. Hug your knees into your chest. Hands below the knees. You're going to rock up and down the spine. On about your third rock, you're going to come all the way up. Place the blocks off to the side. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees hip distance apart. Now in your cat-cow, I want you to think more about the pelvis moving around your femur. So you're going to send the tailbone up towards the ceiling, coming into an anterior tilt. Send the chest forwards and feel the length happening through your hamstring. And then press the tops of the feet into the floor. And tuck your pelvis under, round to the spine, and push away from the ground. And then begin to send the tailbone up, chest comes through. Around, push away from the floor. One more time. And then round. Bring yourself to center. The left knee is going to come towards the midline. Take your right leg straight back, tuck your toes under. And just rock your weight forwards and backwards. One more. And then just set your right knee down to the ground. Now I want you to reach for your block. You're going to place the shortest end of the block behind your right glute. And then squeeze your right heel in towards your glute. Good. So both hands are going to press into the floor. I want you to squeeze into the block. And then as you do that, you're going to push away from the floor. So rib cage away from the ground. Keep hugging your heel into the block. Hold. Ooh. Just getting a little sensation there. And then take the block, place it off to the side. Then you're going to come back onto the hands, straighten the right leg. And then lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Now squeeze your heel in towards your glute and envision that work that you just did, like the block is there. Keep it in tight, rib cage away from the floor. Then pull your knee into center. Try not to shift your weight over to the left. Take your knee directly to the right, heel is still tight to the glute. And then send your knee back, thigh parallel to the floor. Pull your knee in, take it to the side, and then send it back. Now go the other way, ribcage away from the floor, take it to the side, bring it forwards, in, back, and then one more, to the side, forwards, in, back, and up. Good, then straighten your right leg, tuck your left toes under, three-legged dog, take the right leg up towards the ceiling. Toes are still facing the ground. You're going to tap your right toes to the floor and then send the leg up. Slow and controlled. Front ribs in and down. Make sure you're not arching through your low back. Tap your toes down and then take your leg up. Bring your heel in towards the glute. Keep the heel in tight. Begin to bring your right knee in towards your chest. Then shoulders come forwards over top of the wrist. Round, really try to push away from the floor. And step your right foot down between the hands. Left knee is going to lower to the ground. And then from here, you're on your fingertips. If the floor is far away, then place blocks underneath your hands. Okay, so on your fingertips, you're going to round, push away from your right thigh. And then I want you to try to keep the round. You're going to bring your arms forwards. Drive your right foot into the floor and bring yourself all the way up. So as you come up, bring the front ribs in and down so you're not extending through the spine. Hug it in. Good. And then from here, you're going to tuck your back toes under if they're not already. Lift your left knee just a little bit off the floor. Just a little bit. Now, as you drive your right foot down, I want you to feel like you're pulling your front foot to the back foot and vice versa. And then runner's lunge. You're going to hover your chest above the front thigh, straighten your back leg, and sweep your arms back. Then bend your back knee, hover the knee as your arms go forwards and up. Front ribs in and down. Envision the block is between the hands, palm of the hands face one another. Then runner's lunge, lean your chest forward, straighten the back leg. One more time, bend the back knee, arms go forwards and up. And then runner's lunge. Bring your fingertips down to the floor to frame your right foot, just so you can adjust your feet. You're gonna push off your back foot and bring your back foot in slightly. So we're in pyramid with the legs. So your left toes, if you look at your back foot, your left toes are facing the left front corner of your mat. Then as you drive your right foot down on the ground, you have a bend in the right knee, and you're going to come up just halfway. Just halfway. So at the halfway point, I want you to take your right hand to the right hamstring. And notice if it's slacked or if it's engaged. And I want you to find engagement here. So keep it engaged. Drive your feet down as you come all the way up to stand. So right knee's going to stay bent. Your pelvis is going to face probably the front left corner of your mat. So don't square your hips off to the front. Then you're going to hinge from the hip. So your right hip is going to hug back. Your right hand is going to stay connected to the hamstring, so you have that mind-body connection there. So as you come halfway down, make sure you don't lose the work there. So now you're working the eccentric position, that lengthened position, and then you're going to come all the way back up. Keep driving your foot down, feel like you're pulling your front heel to the back foot. And then one more time. Your right hand's going to stay on the hamstring. Make sure it stays engaged. Come halfway down. Right hip is going to hug back. And then bring yourself back up. Now the engagement that you found in the hamstring on that, I want you to see if you can find it in your warrior two. So you're going to rotate your hips to the left, walk your left foot back. So your stance is nice and long. Rib cage over top of the pelvis. Now take your right hand to your right hamstring. Is there any engagement? Is there anything going on at all? And if there isn't, I want you to try to find ways to find more engagement to the right hamstring. So like I've been cueing all class, probably getting sick of me already, but drive your heel down, pull your front heel to the back heel. Ah, yes, there you go. Now instead of letting your knee collapse in, actively press the knee open, and then take your arms up to the side. Reverse it, reach your right arm back, left hand's just gonna rest gently on the left leg. You're not gonna lose the work on the front leg. And then warrior two. Windmill your hands down and frame your right foot as you turn on the ball of your left foot, and you're gonna step back, walk your legs out in downward dog. And then bring your knees down to the floor. And before we do all of that on the other side, I want you to come down and sit on your bum. Take your legs out in front of you and just close your eyes. So I just want you to scan the body. Don't have any activation on the legs or the feet, but notice how the legs feel. Maybe you notice a difference between one side and the other. And then open up the eyes, swing your legs around, come onto your hands and knees. Sometimes it's nice to take that pause before we go on to really bring your awareness into your body instead of rushing from one thing to the other. Bring your right knee to center. Take the left leg straight back, toes are tucked under, and just begin to rock your weight forwards and backwards. One more. So next time you rock your weight back, you're gonna bring your left knee down to the floor there. You're gonna reach for your block. Left heel is gonna come in towards your glute. The block is gonna be behind your left glute, and your left heel or calf is gonna squeeze into the block. So both hands are gonna push into the floor. Don't lose contact of the heel and the block. And then feel like you're rounding through the spine. Front ribs in and down, squeeze in the block as much as you can, hold. Ooh, my sides felt very different on that. Block to the side, hands to the ground, bring your shoulders over top of the wrists as you straighten the left leg and lift the leg up. Pull the heel to the glute. Now already, make sure you're not shifting over to the right. Stay center. Pull the knee into center. Take your knee directly to the side. And then send your knee back. One more in that direction. Pull it in. Take it to the side. And back. Now go the other way. Take it to the side. Don't let the heel move away from the glute. Forwards. In. Back and up. One more time. Take it to the side. Forwards. In and up. Straighten the left leg. Tuck your right toes under. Three-legged dog. Left leg up towards the ceiling. Toes are facing the floor. Tap your toes down. And then lift the leg back up. One more time, tap it down. And take the leg up. Bring your heel in towards the glute, the knee in towards the chest. Keep the knee to the chest, bring your shoulders forwards. Then step down between the hands. Back knee's gonna lower down to the floor, you're on your fingertips. Keep your right toes tucked under. Again, if the floor is far away, use your blocks. So you're gonna round as much as you can to the spine. Okay, so as you drive your left foot into the floor, don't lose that. Reach your right arm or both arms forwards. You're gonna come all the way up. Don't lose the contact of the foot on the floor. Arms up, front ribs in. And then pick your right knee just a little bit off the ground. Straighten your back leg, runner's lunge. Lean your torso forwards, arms sweep back. Chest is not resting on your left thigh. Bend your back knee, bring your arms forwards and up. And then runner's lunge, straighten the right leg, chest leans forwards. One more time, bend the knee, arms reach up. Runner's lunge, drive the left foot into the ground. Bring your fingertips onto the floor to frame your left foot, just so that you can adjust your feet. Push off your back foot, bring it in slightly for pyramid. Right foot is turned out a little bit, left knee is bent. Driving down to the left heel. Come up just halfway. Lengthen the spine, arms are gonna reach back. Then bring yourself all the way up to stand. The left knee is gonna stay bent. So instead of having your front heel in line with the back heel, have your right foot off to the side, just a few inches, okay? So then as you hug the left hip back, I want you to take your left hand, find the hamstring. Connect the left foot into the floor. Don't lose that, hinge from the hip, and fold down. So keep the mind-body connection on the left hamstring. Long spine. Make sure it's not relaxing here. And then bring yourself back up. And when you come up to stand, try not to shift into an anterior tilt and pushing the ribs forwards. Hinge from the hips. Left hip is hugging back. Left hand is on the hamstring. Crown of the head reaching forwards. Drive down through the left heel. And then bring yourself back up. One more time. Hinge from the hip. Hug the hip back, left knee. So bent and tracking over top of the left heel. And then bring yourself up. And we're gonna open up for warrior two. Walk the right foot back, arms out to the side, rib cage over top of pelvis. Once you have your legs all set, left hand to the left hamstring. What's going on there? Can we find a little bit more engagement? Press the left knee open. Then take your arms out to the side. Legs stay solid and strong, reverse it. Right hand to the right leg, reach your left arm back. Windmill your hands down in front of your left foot, turn on the ball of your right foot. Then bend your back knee, you're gonna push off and step forwards to the top of the mat. Feet are gonna be about hip distance apart. Have a bend in the knees, ragdoll, fold forwards over top of the legs. Relax around your neck, you can add a little sway here. And then slowly roll yourself up to stand. Good, and then once you come up, I want you to take one of your blocks and place the block between your thighs. Then hands to your hips. So you're gonna root down through your feet, hug into the block. Now you're gonna hinge from the hips. So anchor through the feet, hinge from the hips, come halfway down, long through the spine, squeeze into the block. Now transfer your weight over to your left foot. As your weight goes over the left foot, I want you to hover your right foot above the floor. Ooh. And then squeeze your right heel in towards your right glute. Bring your foot back to a hover. Really root down through your left foot. Without setting your right foot on the ground, you're gonna come all the way up to stand. Oh, hello. And then right foot down. Both feet on the ground, crown of the head up. And then come halfway down, hinging from the hips. Long spine. Now transfer your weight over to the right foot. Hover your left foot above the ground. And then begin to bring your left heel in towards your glute. Squeeze it in. Bring your foot back to a hover. Try not to set the foot on the ground just yet. Keep it hovering. Come all the way up to stand. And then set the foot down. Take the block. Place it off to the side. Feet hip distance apart at the top of your mat. Reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Then hinge from the hips. Fold forwards over top of the legs. Fingertips to the shins, lift up halfway. Set your hands down, step back, downward dog. Bring your shoulders over top of the wrists. You're in a plank, you have the option to have your knees up or set the knees down and lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Tops of the feet on the mat, feet hip distance apart or wider. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on the hands. Engaging through the glutes. Begin to lift your elbows off the floor. Then lift your head, lift your chest, and the hands come off the ground as well. And then lower back down. Lift your elbows up. Lift your head, lift the chest up. And then lower down. One more time. Elbows lift. Head and chest lifts, hold. And then lower down. Set your hands beside the lower rib cage, tuck your toes under, press yourself up in a table. And then come into child's pose. You can either take your knees nice and wide or bring your knees closer together. Send the breath right into the back. Then you're gonna roll forwards. Shoulders are gonna come over top of the wrists. Knees are gonna be behind the pelvis slightly. Engage your glutes as you bring your hips forwards and pull your chest through. Take the gaze up. Then press the feet into the ground. Lift your hips up. Flex to the spine. Tuck your toes under. Downward dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Right leg up towards the ceiling. Toes face the floor. Pull your knee into the chest. Keep the knee in tight. Bring your shoulders over top of the wrists. Step down between the hands. Left knee comes to the floor. You're on your fingertips. So before you do anything, round, push away from the floor. Then keep the round. Drive the right foot into the ground. Arms go forwards. Reach your arms up. Biceps are framing the ears. Your toes are tucked under. Lift your left knee just a little bit off the ground. Runner's lunge. Lean forward, straighten the back leg, arms back. Now you're going to ground your back heel, and as you do that, you're going to reach your left arm forwards. Right arm is still back. Pull your left hand away from the right hand. Now feel like you're pulling your front heel to your back heel. Then bring your right arm forwards, all the way up to stand. Warrior one. Open up for warrior two. Arms up to the side. Right hamstring engaged. Reverse it. Windmill your hands down to the floor. Turn on the ball of your left foot. Step back, downward dog. Roll it forwards. Your choice, chaturanga, baby cobra, or upward dog. And then meeting and downward dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Left leg up to the ceiling. Bring your knee into the chest. Roll it forwards. Step between the hands. Back knee lowers down to the floor. You're on your fingertips. Really press down through your left foot. Feel like you're trying to get your chest off the left thigh. And then can you keep the round as you reach your arms forwards. Bring yourself all the way up, arms up towards the ceiling. Lift your right knee just a little bit off the floor. Runner's lunge, straighten the back leg. Chest hovering over top of the thigh, arms reach back. Then drop your back heel to the center of the mat. Right arm's gonna reach forwards. Left arm still reaching back. And left arm's gonna come forwards. Bring yourself up, warrior one. Open up for warrior two. Longer stance with the legs, arms up to the side. Reverse your warrior, left arm reaches back. Windmill the hands to the ground, step back, your choice, downward dog or vinyasa. Once you've gone through your flow, lower down onto your knees, swing your legs forwards. So you're coming down into a seated position. Legs just out in front of you. Close down your eyes. And just scan the body. Not creating a story around it. Just noting how it feels after the practice that you had. You're gonna bend both knees. Flex your feet. Dig your heels into the ground. Your feet are about hip distance apart. When you dig your heels in the floor, you'll find that you'll have more engagement through the hamstring, like we've been working on in the class. And when we have more engagement through the hamstring, we have more stability around the pelvis. So you're gonna reach your arms forwards. Keep pressing your heels down. Begin to tuck your pelvis under. You're gonna take 10 counts to roll back. For 9, keep pressing down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Can you go even slower here? 3, 2, 1. You're gonna land. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Going to happy baby. Soles of the feet to the ceiling, hands to the outer edges of the feet, knees wide, and rock it out. Let go of the feet, wrap your arms around the shins, lift your chest towards your thighs, give yourself a big hug, and then let it go. So you can either take your legs along out in Savasana, or you can bring your knees together with your feet mat distance, or whatever other position feels really nice. Let's just take a few minutes in stillness together. Being in tune with how the breath is moving here. Feeling your body relax. Please stay here for as long as you need. It was an honor to guide you through your practice. Be humble, be kind. Thank you. Namaste.